Hey, how's it going, everyone? Just back again with another sequence of the end times. So I just went through the book of John and trying to find as many as I could, and I found two. And so this one is incredible. This one is a bit more coded language, but also is fairly explicit. So John 3:31 to 4:27. He who comes from above is above all. He who is of the earth belongs to the earth and speaks in an earthly way. He who comes from heaven is above all. Verse 32, he bears witness to what he has seen and heard, yet no one receives his testimony. So the Bible message is for very, very few number of people. Just know that. Whoever receives his testimony sets his seal to this, that God is true. That's a reference to the God's elect being sealed in the last days, and that's in verse 33. And so just know that. And so those are the people that will truly be able to say that God is true, and then they'll be able to give their testimony, which in the last days is the spirit of prophecy. For he whom God has sent utters the words of God, for he gives the Spirit without measure. So they'll be overflowing. They'll know lots of things. The Father loves the Son and has given all things into his hand. It's the same with Christ. Christ's wisdom, power, and all that was overflowing, and then because it's been given to him by the Father who loves him. Verse 36, whoever believes in the Son has eternal life. Whoever does not obey the Son shall not see life, but the wrath of God remains on him. And so those first few verses are referencing God's elect, okay? And then it has a reference here to wrath. And so if you read 1 Thessalonians 5:9, it said that God's elect are not appointed unto wrath, okay? And so those first few verses talk about the elect and then salvation. And then now we have a reference here to wrath, which are plagues meant to sift out the rest of God's right-hand side. And so I'm not going to read the rest of this, but this is Jesus and the woman of Samaria. So most Bible teachers will read this and then just analyze it, but they won't understand that it's Bible prophecy. Okay, it's referring to the end times. And so John 4:6 makes a reference to Jacob's well was there. So Jesus, wearied as he was from his journey, was sitting beside the well. It was about the 6th hour. So this is coded language for now. This is the 666 system. It's going to be pushed, the mark of the beast. And so just know that. And then this whole interaction is Jesus with a woman from Samaria, where Jesus asked her for a drink, and then he's like, how is it that you, a Jew, ask for a drink from me, a woman of Samaria? For Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans. So this is symbolic of the people that are outside of the elect, the without the temple, outside of the temple and all that kind of stuff. And so this is now the people that have to give up their life, when they go through the Great Tribulation period. And so this, I don't need to read all of this, but just know that this interaction is him speaking with a woman from Samaria who represents those who are not of the elect, but still on God's right-hand side, and then he's telling her that, the true worshipers will worship in spirit and in truth. And so, but they need to see God. They need to hear it from God's own mouth. And then he's going to be preaching the gospel through angels in the sky, and so during this time, so all these people need to see God in order for them to believe. And so just know that. And so, like it says in verse 24, God is spirit, and those who worship him must worship in spirit and in truth. The woman said to him, I know that the Messiah is coming. He who is called Christ, when he comes, he will tell us all things. And then Jesus said to her, I who speak to you am he. Okay. And so just so you know, the sequence is being honored here, that we have salvation, a reference to God's elect, a reference to the 6th hour, and then a time where people are going to be preached the gospel, the actual gospel from Christ himself and his angels. And so, and then there's going to be a reappearance, like Jesus alludes to here, I who speak to you am he. And then in verse 27, then his disciples came back. And so this is referencing to the fact that the elect will return with Christ. And that's in verse 27:14. That's short for 144. And so this is slightly coded language, but I think people who understand, this is what the Bible's speaking. This is what it's breathing all the time, that this is the sequence of the events for the end times. Hope everyone's doing well. Bye.